Do you know that the porn industry makes almost $2.84 billion a year off of the internet? Everyone in this modern day and age uses the technology we have to access so much information, whether it's for school, play, or work. Unfortunately, there's always consequences when it comes to the internet. And, the people who are affected the most by these consequences, whether it's newfound strangers or people you don't ever want to trust, like criminals or felons, these people are being affected. And it's kids, it's children, it's teenagers, it's people who do not know what to do in these certain situations when they're exposed to inappropriate information that's not supposed to be for them. Unfortunately, there's barely any regulation on internet when it comes to teenagers or children in the United States. Lack of regulation definitely affects teenagers, especially right now with their mindsets and mental illness. It allows them to become more violent. It allows them to view the opposite gender in a totally different way. It skews their worldview and their perspective also. There's people like me who believe the government needs to expand the amount of regulation on internet pornography specifically to prevent any damage to children and teenagers like me, because it's not safe at all. It's inappropriate, it skews their worldview, and it's just not good for them. Makes them a little bit more high risk when it comes to their behavior and everyday life. As well, according to the Journal of American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. Pornography definitely normalizes the sexual harm, portraying lack of emotional relationships, violence, unprotected sex, and even sometimes sexual assault or rape. And this teaches kids that it's normal when it's really not. Trying to normalize it in a sense that it's on the internet and it's so easy to access, claiming that it's, a little bit normal and it's just easy for them to watch. Recently, there was a 2010 study of 50 porn films suggesting that pornography contained various levels of physical and verbal aggression. And guess what? Men committed 70% of all aggressive acts, and 94% was towards women. Is that surprising? It's not, because that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it is. These acts are towards women. They want to demean women, and they're trying to normalize it through pornography. And that's not normal, and kids should not be able to see that. Also, it's great to mention that pornography definitely promotes high aggression towards women, teaching young men and boys that it's okay to maybe put their hands on a woman when it's really not. Regulating the internet pornography and sexually explicit content or violent content from teenagers and minors is not an easy task. On one side, minors attain preventable damage from explicit media, learning harmful ways to treat women, ruining their personal relationships, and leading to addictive personalities as well. So normalizing the sexual harm towards the opposite sex increases aggressiveness in their bodies and just in everyday life. However, the government regulating the pornography would definitely have some risk, opposing opinions at hand, because some people believe that it would violate amendments. But how will we fix this problem? Who is going to fix this problem? Some people believe that the government has the job to regulate the internet and the world around us. I believe that the government has the job to regulate the internet, and especially when it comes to pornography, sexually explicit things, and violence towards women. The government has the job of regulating this content, especially on the internet, and when kids see it and teenagers see it. Like 20 years ago, there were sex shops everywhere, and if they even tried to cater to the youth, the police or the government would immediately shut it down. But why isn't it the same for the internet? Why can't they have the same regulations for the internet as they do have with sex shops? I feel like, and a lot of other people feel like, the government needs to have the same or even more regulations for the internet and its access of information with kids and children and teenagers. The states has its rights to regulate pornography, as it does have to regulate sex shops. But they choose not to because of monetary reasons, capital, economy, everything. There's so many factors into it, and people don't really understand it. There's always going to be dark corners of the internet everywhere, despite regulation in certain parts. But I still believe that the government needs to help children and teenagers and prevent any future damage to our future generation, because it is imperative that people know that kids need to learn how to treat people and the people around them and society.